basically what it started with was a slab of clay, and I used the stuff in the barrel. You can use box clay. I think it's easier. If you don't use box clay, I would roll out my slab and then stick it onto a longer board, or I would cut my slabs and then very carefully put them onto a board and let them sit overnight. Okay, so how do you do this? Once you have your 1/4 inch using the tracker boards rolled out, then you're going to take your template pieces, and you should have already cut them out, and you want to attach these to your clay. So the best way to do this is to spray the surface with a little bit of water, and then I always like to sort of make my get rid of the canvas textures. I don't really like it. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be sticking this on, and then this is going to be the outside. So whatever you do to this, you want it to look nice. There's kind of a wave in there. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Then some of this paper actually has a curve to it. You want to put the curve towards the clay because you don't want it curving off of your project. So I'm just going to put it down, and I'm going to press down with my template pieces. That way they'll stick, because when you get done, you want to have these stuck to the back, and you don't want to remove them until your project is completely together. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to cut this out. And all you have to do is follow that tar paper template that you made. And then you're going to pick this up really carefully. Now, depending on how your clay is, oh, this didn't stick. That's fine. Take it back off. Spray it with a little bit more water. Make sure that the curved side is down, and then just stick it to it. It should then really stick. If you want to be really, kind of extra careful about it, you can do that to it. Okay, now you're going to choose one of your slabs as the bottom. Doesn't really matter. And I'm going to cut this one for another hour. So to put the sides together, you need this. It's a bevel cutter. You're going to use the side that's smaller. This is a 30-inch, this is a 45. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place this down on my flat surface, and I'm going to cut a bevel. So you kind of put this side next to your clay, put this on the table, and then when you cut, it cuts a bevel. Okay? When you cut a bevel, that means that you're going to put your two sides together and they're going to meet perfectly. So I'm going to bevel all four sides of this piece I just cut. Again, I'm using the small side. And those of you, if you have done the template, you'll notice that there's about an 1/8 inch that you should have left. That's for this, because your two pieces are going to be going together. So now I'm going to take another one of my pieces, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. And I'm just going to bevel these edges. And we've got a set, not a class set of these, so you've got to share. You're only going to need it for a very short amount of time. I like to do all four of them at once. That way, I keep missing that corner. That way you don't have to, do any cutting once you're starting to construct it together. Okay, now I kept all those little pieces because I can use those. So now I'm going to very carefully score and slip. I like these. These are a cool little scoring tool. . or both sides that I'm putting together. Don't go real deep. Then I'm going to take a little bit of slip, put it on both sides. And now the tar paper is going to help you hold on to this thing. And it's also going to keep your project in the right consistency. So what you want to do next is you want to press your clay together. And then notice this is pretty wet clay, but it's still kind of holding up. Next, all I do is I roll a coil. So I take one of those pieces that I already cut off, because they're pretty small anyway, and then I just put a coil in along the seam on the inside, and then I'm going to smooth this to my project. And you can start with a finger and then move to another tool. That's totally up to you. But this, again, your coils are your insurance policy so that the stuff doesn't fall apart. Now, at this time, you probably would want to do all the walls and leave the top for last. You're probably not going to get this whole thing done in one class period. And you're not going to be wrapping it up, because your tar paper should keep your project pretty moist and in the right consistency. Okay, so then once I have my coils on the inside and they're really nicely smoothed out, then I'm going to start with the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. And you should have basically a top without a cover, and the final piece is to put the cover on. Okay? Then you have to stop. Alright, you can stop.